this is your harvesting protocol. So for you to know, 50 to 80% necks fall over. So you see that your onion will fall over to the other side. The leaves start to dry. The bulbs are now firm. The skins become like paper. You're able to, like, flake it up. So you pull the bulbs gently. Then you cure under a dry shade for about 7 to 10 days, 14 days. Just see what works. If you have a storage facility, you can put them in storage. And then store sticks, again, it's just that it's dry. Never like conceal them completely where it's airtight, but just ensure you have dry storage wherever you're going to do it. And then in terms of your yields, you have an average of 30 to 50 tons per hectare. So this is with good management. And then your your ponches, 10 kg bags. So 30 tons is what you do if you want to. So that's about you do your multiplication. So that's about 30 by 1,000. So we get kgs. So just a second. Let me get to my calculator. So 30 times 1,000, that gives you 30,000 kgs divided by 10. That gives you 3,000 ponches. So that's how much you can get in a hectare. And let's say, for example, you sell your onion at 100 kwacha per ponch, so that's about 300,000. I mean, give take. Farming on the calculator is very easy, but at a good time you can make good money from onion. Like I mentioned yesterday, farmers that don't have time, onion, potato, these are things you can go in with. You can easily tell that apa people harvested. So harvest days, you make sure that you are available. If you are working with a business partner, your business partner is available. You're seeing the harvest. You're seeing where things are going, you know you're seeing where things are going. And then others are able to hit even 50 tons. So this is 5,000 ponches. So profitability if planted at the correct season. And then just try avoiding times where everyone now has onion. Like right now, the price of onion is about at 100, but during the cold season, it's higher. Where we're going in front, it drops. You find sometimes it's 50, it's 60 kwacha. So it really, really, really just depends. Okay, so I'm going to answer the questions. I had a notification from the chat. I'll get back to the questions. Let me just go back to the presentation. So business marketing and tips. So target demand period. So December to March. My advice, best planting is December. March, yeah, offloading. March, April, cold season, yeah, offloading. So when local supply is low. So target your bulk buyers, so your hotels, your supermarkets, your exporters, your wholesalers. Those are the best. You as the farmer, you can't start selling onion one. Unless maybe your farm is nearby, then there are those people who come, no, I want onion for 5 kwacha. You figure it out, how to measure it out. But if you're sending to the markets, it's easy. You find marketeers to buy, they'll be available to buy it. So others do value addition, also not very common, but dried onions, onion powder, seed production in the sense of onion sets. So you provide sets for those who are trying to grow it in the rain season but don't want the seed to be washed away. So they buy sets in like, these are like smaller onions, and they're sold in ponches. So there are those who buy the sets. So post-harvest losses are common. So, curing and storage can help increase your profits. If you're able to keep it for a longer period, even better. So all of these things, it's very possible. OPV, you spend more time growing it, but you still make your money. But you just know that you're going to spend 6 months trying to grow this thing. So what is better? You harvest fast, or you spend an entire 6 months. So see really what works out for you. I think really that just becomes your key for success. Sometimes, things get tough in businesses. You're not able to operate at your usual, and you have to come to a compromise. It's normal. You just say, I have to sacrifice this time. I'm not able to do this as I would have wanted. And it's normal. It happens. It's not all the time where you'll be at your peak. And that's how it is in business. Up, down, up, down. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes you're unable to really do as much as you want to do. And then there are times where you are able to run. And when you are able to run, do as much as you can. And that's why for me, I just tell myself I don't stress myself. When I'm seeing that things are a bit hard, I do what I can manage. I do what is in my range. This is where you find people are now getting loans to push certain things. They're unable to do things properly. They're trying to compete with people. Do what you can do it at your pace, start where you are and continue. And I think that will just make you very content as a farmer. You don't know how people are making their money. You don't know how people are doing certain things. Others, loans are killing them, and you want to start competing with people. So just do what you can manage. And when you move fast, you move fast. When you move slow, you move slow. So long as you're still pushing and trying to get whatever you want to do out there. So as you are doing your marketing, be very aggressive. Go to places, look for markets. There's a before COVID, we were growing a lot of different things. When I tell you, I learned a lot of business. Growing up in a family where business now became our thing, we would be so aggressive with the markets. You go all over Lusaka. Yeah, you have a price list, you have products in the vehicle, you're going. Some of the places are even buying as you are showing them, oh, this is what I have. You're leaving things, they're buying, they're setting orders, yeah, restaurants. So you know that when I go to Lusaka, when I come back from Lusaka, I should have come back with cash sales because I've sold at the small stores. I would have found a market with a hotel. I would have found a market with a what. So you start to think like that, so that every time your car is on the road, you're on the road, you are making sales. So just go out. I mean, not every door you knock on will open, but just continue looking for markets. And that's how it goes. You're able to meet all your costs. Some of the small things will come from the little stores. You find this store, you get a 2,000 from here, a 500 kwacha from here. By the time you're going home, you have a 6,000 this week just from small sales. Then the bulk sales, you've amounted to a certain amount. And that's how business goes. You're able to meet your needs, your costs. So just look at it like that. Sometimes I want to be in the chain stores. Sometimes it doesn't always start with the chain stores. So just these other people, marketeers, if there are people who want to come and buy from the farm, be open and just see what works for you, what works for your model. But like I always talk about it, in whatever production you are going to do, calculate the distance to the market, how much you're going to produce. Your farm is 200 kilometers away. You are definitely not going to grow where you're only harvesting 30 ponches. And then how much are you going to spend on transport, the labor, the what? So do things that make economic sense. I am about 60 kilometers from town. If we've put fuel in the truck, that's about 1,000 kwacha. Whatever I've carried in the truck must be more than 1,000 kwacha. But sometimes you find that things haven't gone well at the market. You've even made less than what you've carried when things are bad, or you've just made your transport costs. But try by all means not to have less than what you're going to use to transport your goods. That's why I prefer on-farm sales. I'm not stressing about distribution, what's going to happen once I've sold and the things are out of the gate. That is up to the person who has bought. So just try and see ways to make your marketing and your distribution easier. So success tips for you: always use certified seed. Get good quality seed. We can't override the power of quality seed. Keep strict rotation, so never onions after onions. Go in with something else. Maybe you say, okay, after onion I'll go in with green beans, after that I'll go in with potato, after that I can push cabbage, carrots, maize. Just do something so that it's not onions, 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 onions. Do your weekly scouting for pests, for diseases. Just ensure that you have that sorted. Then stop nitrogen early to avoid neck rot. You don't want it to rot, because again, if your onion starts rotting, it's now a disaster. You've taken onion to a store, they are calling you back that come back, come and see your onion. Customers are complaining it's rotting. And what happened? You didn't want to buy the Multi-K, you didn't want to buy the potassium fertilizer because it was expensive. You decided to still push urea. Now this onion is rotting and they want their money back if they have already paid you. And now you're losing a market because of trying to cut costs. So harvest at the right time. Don't do it too early. It will be immature. If it's too late, it will start rotting. And then find a place to store it. You can come up with a storage place. You can come up with ways to have your onion dry well, so that you can store it for a longer period of time. When the market isn't good, you just say, we're storing the onion. And then, yeah, just avoid putting it on top of each other, that rotting. What you can do, you can, even if you don't put it in bags, you can line all of it on the ground. Don't let it pile on top of each other. Then you'll be packaging as you need to distribute it. Sometimes you find that there are some that start rotting. You remove the rotting ones. But now if they start rotting early, you just know that you're in for it to have a big problem, because now this onion of yours is rotting. So this now becomes a problem. So really, with your onion, like I mentioned, timing is key. Understand your pests, understand your diseases, do your land preparation in time. See what works for you. Are you going to work with sets? Are you going to work with seeds? What are you going to work with? And after you've decided what you're going to work with, this makes a lot of the groundwork that you're going to do much, much easier. So let me just go back into the chat. The questions can start coming. I'll start with these questions, and then we proceed and see how much time we'll have. So let me start with the questions here. Then I know there are some questions which were in the WhatsApp group. I will address those after these. So let me just scroll up. When is the good times to plant onions in Zambia, like Copperbelt region? So for me, with farming, I say that you can plant anything at any time of the year. Really what it is are you able to manage it at a time where it's difficult? So you can plant it at any time. I do understand that the market in the Copperbelt is not like the one in Lusaka. Lusaka, there's a lot of, when the prices are low, it's low. So with Copperbelt, I feel like, yeah, sort of at an advantage, because the prices don't get as bad as they do get here. So you can practically plant at any time, but the best time is in the rains. But with the rains, like I mentioned, with the rains, as I mentioned, you find that your seed gets washed away, or maybe it's now time to start drying. It's raining, it starts rotting in the field. You have nowhere to pull it out and dry it nicely. So that's where the problem comes in. So this question by Natalie, is it advisable to grow onion in the rainy season? If you're able to grow it during the rainy season, that's when now at point of harvest you are definitely going to have a better shot of making money. Where can we buy neem oil? So neem oil, Osho has what we call nimbicidine. So Osho, that's where I get neem oil. They have very good neem oil. It's called nimbicidine from Osho, and most agro dealers have it. So you can just ask, I'm asking for a pesticide that has neem oil. So neem oil, you will be able to use it for all your crops. Very, very, very good. Um, would mulching help with suppressing weeds? Absolutely. Mulching helps control weeds, so it's very good to mulch as well. Even in whatever you do, you can mulch. You can mulch most of your fields. Others are afraid to mulch, usually because they're afraid of snakes. I know maybe a snake is hiding, but yeah, you can mulch. How can you preserve onion after harvesting? So there are others, they make these wooden structures, they stack it, there's a way they tie it. If you have like a storage area or like a room or like a facility, you can put them into dry on dry floor where the floor isn't moist, then that will help a long way. But that's why others lift it up. If you have where you can make even like makeshift tables and hang them or put them somewhere where it's dry, you can do that. But moisture, there's no wetness entering. So yeah, most of these commercial people, like I mentioned, they're using dryers, so they dry it completely, bag it, and wait for the good time when the price is good on the market. Then you find others, they're able to hit the Congo market, and they're able to get good prices. What measures can be put in place to secure the onions when they're drying them in the field before harvesting and storage? So the best way, because now, for example, if it's the rain season, we target where, like for the copper belt, the rain season is longer. Lusaka is where the rains stop quite early. So, for example, if we say that we plant in December, so I'm counting December as in the literally the first week of December. So, December, January, February, March. March, it would have started drying, and then you know that, okay, it's still at point of maturity, but for it to be completely dry, you'd be in about April. So the best time to plant would be end of December, so that when it's complete drying, there's no rains. If the rains come, it's, we have that last rainfall, that's a heavy downpour. So we kind of like have to watch the time, but usually the best bet is the late planting. And then sometimes what you do is, if you see that they are dryish and you have a place to remove them and then they finish drying inside somewhere, you can do that. So with the last onion that I had, we removed, because now we noticed people started stealing it. It was already dryish, but it hadn't like completely dried, so we moved it, and then would take it out. It dries out in the sun, we move it back inside, it dries out in the sun. So it was quite a lot of work to do, but those are ways, because now people start stealing your onion. You reach a point you can't really tell, because they'll now become strategic. Every day, if they are pulling every day, if they're removing 2 to 3 onions, by the end of the week, that's already a punch. Now you won't even be able to really notice, because they're strategically doing it. And by the time it's point of harvest, they would have already pulled a lot of it. Is it possible to keep onion in the ground? For onion, it's not necessarily like your potato where you can like bury it in the ground, so you have to remove it. You can keep it in the ground if it is dry. So like now, you can leave your onion, it's drying till it's very dry, then you start bagging it in the field. You're bagging, then you lift all of it at once, put it in storage, or it goes to the market. Where should we find sets, and how should we know this is a right set? So usually the ones who grow sets are more of the smaller scale guys. I know there was this man, he used to sell quite a lot of the sets, the Mad Farmer. He used to sell the red onion sets. So they were about, I think that time, 300 per bag. And then with these sets, they are counted. So you know, okay, you literally know how many onions they are going to have when you buy the sets. I'll also try and inquire which other people have onion sets, because when you have the sets, you can even plant a little later, but then be able to dry it at the right time. So that's the advantage with the sets. So they do have the shoot already. So once you put it in the ground, it will start growing just like a normal onion. So there are those who do the sets. Or if you want, you can also make your own sets. Once they reach about 6 to 5 centimeters in diameter, you remove them, you dry them. Then after that, after some time, that's what you're going to use to plant. So that's what it is with the onion sets. Let me see where I wrote something a little more detailed on onion sets, which I can describe. Just a moment, I look for it. Just a second. However, questions can come into the group, into the chat. Just a moment. So yeah, you can keep your sets even for quite a bit of time. So this is practically your immature bulbs, and then yeah, so they are easy to plant. They will not get washed away. So rain season, this is how you manage the risk of seed being washed away. So they're beginner friendly, so they're also like a reliable way. So yeah, the only challenge with onion sets is that most of the people who will sell you sets, they will not sell you F1 sets. They'll sell you the OPV sets. And then the problem with sets is that there's what we call bolting. So bolting is where your onions start flowering very early, and that's also not good for the growth of your onion. So yeah, not all varieties can be grown for sets. So those are some of the disadvantages with onion sets. However, if you do find them, you can see how best they've been kept, and that's what you can use. However, if you do the seed beds, you still be good to go. But really, with your onion, to get a good price, just target where you're able to grow it during the rain season, and yeah, you'll be good to go. So it's nothing too difficult. So there's another question: is it advisable to buy seedlings from people who do seedlings? It's more expensive. It's more expensive to buy seedlings. Just buy seed and make your seed bed. Onion, for example, for me, I wouldn't necessarily buy cabbage seeds to do my own cabbage seedlings, because of how difficult it can be to get uniformity. But for onion, it's not the same. I wouldn't necessarily buy tomato seeds if I'm doing a large field. So with onion, just buy seeds and you do your nursery, or you do your direct planting. If you are noticing gaps, you can replant, or if someone planted too much, you can move in and do gap filling. That's what just helps go a long way. Can I plant nurseries in December and transplant in February if it's OPV? So yes, you can, but remember I mentioned that with OPV, you note that it will take a little longer, but you can still do that. Just try and do your timing in such a way that just try and do your timing in such a way that it is coinciding with the good prices, not where you've done your nursery in December and only transplant in February, and then by the time your onion is ready, it's cheap on the market. We don't want that. Is neem side the same as neem seedling? Neem side, neem seedling. I don't know if I'm quite getting what neem seedling is, but yeah, nimbicidine is the pesticide, the neem oil basically. So maybe if you can clarify the neem seedling, that yeah. Oh, neem side and nimbicidine, maybe that's what you mean. Yes, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. At transplanting stage, some people trim onion. What is the purpose of trimming? Trimming in the sense of, are they trimming on the top, like cutting the top?
Yes, they cut on the top.
On the top, okay. So trimming on onion, it helps the top of the seedlings. It helps to strengthen them. That's why you find that some people trim them. But one thing you should never do is trim the green top of the mature plant. So on the seedlings, you can do that just to help strengthen them. But it's not all the time that you need to trim them, but you can do it. At what stage should we fertilize the onion? So I have put the different stages in the document. So before planting, that's where you apply your manure. Then after transplanting, you can do your basal dressing. So others wait for it to establish a bit so that they don't burn the seedling. And whenever you apply fertilizer on any crop, do it a few centimeters from the plant so that you do not scorch it. When can we start preparing nursery for rain-fed onion? So just when your rain stabilized, by December usually, the rains would have stabilized. But if you can kickstart your continues, you can start early December towards end of November. A region where it rains a lot, you can do it as early as November. So just see how your rainfall pattern is, then you can start the preparation. So with your onion sets, practically what you do is grow up to about 5 centimeters in diameter. So they don't grow as much, and then you keep them. So you can prepare your onions and keep some even keep them for even about a year. However, what you do, you have to make sure that these are dried and stored for replenishment. So can people hear me? It was just showing me that I had lost connection. So yes, the PDF will be shared. So with your onion sets, you can prepare them early now. If you start preparing them now, you can replant them towards January, and then they'll start to mature. If they're going to be dry, then you plant them. But with it, there are also its own challenges and disadvantages, because not all varieties can do sets, but you can experiment. What's the best onion variety? You can advise a startup in onion production, particularly which doesn't remove the sponge too early. So really it depends on which company you'd want to go for. So for example, you can, if you do the Seedco varieties, what you do is, when do you want your onion to mature? Are you going for an F1 variety, so the hybrid variety? You can also grow the Creoles. Those are not bad. Stark Ayers has Creole, but it's just that it rots a bit early. However, we have the Ronit from Amiran, we have Elad. There are a wide range of, there's also what they call Irati. Irati is a very good onion seed, also pricey. But for onion, I would say most of these varieties are good. It depends on your budget and when you want to plant them. But I would advise that you get something from either Stark Ayers. You can also get from Seedco. Seedco has good onion, or Syngenta. These three you can get, and then see which one works best for you. But Irati is a good variety. Then the Ronit, the Elad from Amiran, these are also good. Which variety would you recommend I can plant in October, knowing very well it will mature? So it will not mature by rains. So if you October, let's say October you plant in the first week. So October, November, December, January. So that's about 4 months. January, February, it would be, you would have said it would have been dry. However, you need to know that your drying won't take place in the field. You'd have to dry it out of the field. So you'd get a onion that can mature in 4 months. So the best variety, the best varieties, just the same ones I've mentioned, are the ones which are fast maturing. The likes of Irati, the likes of Ronit, you know that. I'll list all of these. So that you can just select what is available to you, what is near you. But like I mentioned, Stark, Seedco, Syngenta. So you can choose whether you want red or white onion. So depending on your market, what they prefer. Alternatively, you can do where you separate your fields, where you have red onion and where you have white onion. And then you see which one you want to do best. May you please share the PDF presentation on onion? So yes, the PDF is going to be shared on onion. I think there's just one more thing that needs to be added, and then we'll be good to go for sharing. Which one works well in rain season between sets and direct planting? So sets would work better in the rain season to control the risk. But if you're a risk taker, sometimes I like to be a risk taker. I would just do because sets take a bit of time. And if I haven't made the sets, I've not sourced the sets, I would do a nursery. I wouldn't do direct planting, but I would do the nursery first, because in the nursery you can sort of control how much you've planted, and you design your beds in such a way that you don't lose a lot of your onion seeds. So yeah, questions can continue coming. Let me just check the WhatsApp group. Okay, some of these. What is the best spacing for open market? So for open market, interplant, you can do 5 to 6 centimeters apart. So that's tight enough. And then for the chain stores, you go 8 to 10 centimeters apart for the bigger onion bulbs. So if we have any more questions, can attach them in the chat. So if there are, I can type WhatsApp group the varieties that are available. So I'm just writing them in the group, onion varieties, but these will be added to the document. So the document will be sent to you in the morning. I'm just writing onion variety. So we have Ronit, Super Elad, we have Creole. So Creole is red. Then we also have the Texas Grano. It's a white variety, white onion variety. It's not a hybrid, but it's also very good. It's also very good. Then we have Africa Red. So Africa Red is a Syngenta one. So this one is an F1 variety. Then we have Irati. Irati is actually one of Zambia's top selling. Irati, Africa Red, these ones, the prices are on the high side. And then we also have Chelsea F1. So yeah, these are some of the good high yielding varieties that we have. And are you available for consulting now, even after the lessons have ended? Yes, I am. We will be having other programs that you can also look out for. Did you highlight on this question? So I'm just looking at the questions in the WhatsApp group. Do you have a cooperative for purposes of opportunity or market sourcing? In terms of a cooperative, I haven't started one. I would want to do something whereby at least if I've got a sure market, then it will be easier. There's something that I'm still working on. It's in line with beetroot, but once the markets are established, it will be something that can easily be talked about. And obviously, because you are part of our community, you'd be the first people to hear about it. But as of now, nothing is, none of it is yet firmed out. So I can't start really like talking of something when the markets haven't really been done. Then let me just scroll up for the questions. Do I do nurseries in December and transplant in February? Won't it be affected by fungal? So with the fungal, you have to be doing your fungal sprays. And again, what you can do so that water doesn't sit in the beds, you rise your bed so that it's not a situation where water is now sitting in the beds and it's in low-lying ground. So you do raised beds. Let's just see. So OPV, we said it takes 6 months to mature. Then these others 4 to 5 months max. I'm just scrolling up to see. The potato slides are missing the insecticide table. There was the one with 29 pages. That's the one that should have. Let me just highlight the one with 21 pages. 6 months, yes, 6 months including seedling stage. So you have to water properly. If you don't water properly, it's what delays maturity. So the notes with 29 pages. Let me just write this one. That's the one which has the insecticide table. So that's a wide range of insecticides that can be used over a wide range of crops. So just keep that one in mind. Gibberellic acid, that's the chemical for sprouting for potato. I'm just following the questions. So for potatoes, you can even keep them a month plus 2 months. If you keep them in the ground, you can keep them longer, but you just have to keep checking on them and ensure that the variety you've used is a good one. But they can stay in the ground for some time. Okay. Yeah, your questions can still continue coming in. We still have time. So for onion, I've grown the Texas Grano, I've grown the Red Creole, I've also done a bit of Irati, and I have also done Ronit and Elad. So Ronit and Elad was also very good quality onion. These ones from Amiran. So for the notes, the one with 21 pages, which I've highlighted in the group, that is the correct one, which has the updated tables. So you'll be able to. Okay, there's a person. So these notes will also be shared to you in your email. So even if you lose it on WhatsApp, you have access to it in your email forever. You were breaking for hybrid. So hybrid, you'd take about 4 months, including seedling stage, to maturity. So that's the advantage with hybrid. So you find a lot of the big guys opt for hybrid. For hybrid seeds, just to cut that maturity time. Because half a year is quite a long time to be growing something and keeping it in your field. So the Mr. Mike, what you can do. Okay, I'm just seeing. Have you opened the one with 29 pages at the bottom of the document? That's where all the tables for fertilization interval at the bottom of the PDF. That is where all the tables are. So just go to the bottom of the document. You'll be able to see the tables. How can you protect rain-fed onion from rotting due to excess water? So if there's a lot of water, if you've done beds, if there's a lot of water sitting in your beds, you can find a way to make the water come out of the beds. Elevating your beds, so doing like raised beds. Where I am, we are like the farm is at a very low point. I'm in Kafue Rural, so all the water from the rains comes and sits here. So whenever we plant anything, we raise the beds, even with our maize, especially the 2 hectares maize that we do in the fence. We raise the ridges so that the maize is not sitting in water, and that's what helps. So what you can do to prevent the excess rotting, you raise the beds. If there's water sitting inside the beds, you find a way to open it up, and then the water comes out and do your drainage. But once you just raise your beds, you're good to go. So let me just check the WhatsApp chat. What is the estimated cost of growing onion for a hectare? So onion for a hectare roughly will come to about 90 to 100,000 if you're using hybrid seed, including fertilizers and your labor costs thereabout. But if you do the cheaper seed, we're talking of about, even you can cut that cost into about half, 30 to 40. Or even a little less, but yeah, thereabout, yeah, 30 to 40 with your hybrid, I mean your OPV seed. You can cut the cost. So really, what others can do, you can experiment, do OPV, do hybrid. Others make money, a lot of money from OPV, and they are making savings. These guys from Chipata, the way they pack the onion with big heads, they bring it to Lusaka like it's Malasha. Then you who's grown your hybrid, you don't even overpack it. They are rushing for the OPV one. They're making their money and they're going. So you can experiment and you can use both. But when there's a shortage, especially during the cold season where we have the bans, you're assured you're going to make money. And that's been the cycle year in for, I don't know, I don't know how many years. That's what's been going on. And these are stuff that you won't necessarily hear people saying. You find they're gatekeeping such information. So yeah, I mean, it's not, things like onion, it's not as volatile as tomato or rape where the prices are changing at any second, but you sort of get to see. Right now onion is fetching about 140, 100 kwacha a punch. So in the updates group, what I'll also be doing, I'll be sharing market prices in there, so you can at least have an idea, you can have an analysis. So these are mainly like Lusaka prices. So yeah, maybe if you have other questions, you can still ask later on. I think we'll do like a recap. Let me just see our timetable. But yes, these are the main things that you need to take note of. But if we have questions, please take the opportunity now. We still have time. We still have some time. And I can tell you the 3 crops that you find farmers growing: onion, potato, cabbage, done at the right timing. Cabbage planted now, like I'm even delaying, and it's kind of worrying me that I'll need to speed up. I need to water it more so that it grows faster, and also work with my regenerative agricultural products, which I'll be sharing with you all soon, so that I speed up the growth so that by Christmas I'm on the market. Your potato planted now, we know that by Christmas you'll be smiling. Your onion planted December, for next year cold season, you'll be smiling. You have these 3 well managed, you'll be making some good money from whatever you grow. So if we still have more questions, please feel free to use the chat, and also the chat in the group or the chat in the Google Meet. Okay, so there are people who are still typing in the group.
Guys, go get the kids outside.
I think tomorrow we'll still have a recap. Let me just confirm. Do you have any agronomists recommended for Kanakantapa Chongwe? Yes, I do.
Wait.
I can share with you a contact. They'll be able to help you with crop protection. So they do cover Chongwe area. So at least things like crop protection, fertilization, they'll be able to advise on those. So let me just check the WhatsApp group. I didn't get it when you were explaining on buffer. So what buffer is a chemical that controls the pH of the water. We don't know the pH of our water. Usually we don't normally test it. So the buffer just regulates the pH so that there are certain chemicals you find that, let's say your water is acidic or highly alkaline. There are certain chemicals that don't work in such waters. So the buffer, you add it to your water before you spray. So you can find most buffers in good where they do crop. So livestock services, they have buffers. Amiran, they have buffers. So you apply it to your water first, then you go in with your chemicals. So if I got it right, sorry, my network glitched a bit, but let me just check the chat. Yes, so sticker, insecticide, and buffer. So sticker, insecticide, fungicide, buffer. You go in with those. But if you are really, like, let's say you're trying to control, for example, let's say you're trying to really manage your diseases, you can do your fungicide, your sticker, and your buffer. But remember, buffer and copper do not go together. The chemicals will not work, they're not compatible. Alternatively, apart from cabbage, potatoes, which other crops are profitable that can be planted before the rains? Let's see. Green beans. Green beans sold before the sold Christmas time. You fetch good prices. Lumanda as well. I think a lot of vegetables that are grown during this hot period, because what happens is these people who have wells, the wells will start drying by October. It becomes a little difficult to do the irrigation. Also not difficult, it also becomes costly. So you find people are minimizing, and with this load shedding, not everybody has solar, others are using diesel. It just becomes costly. Do you have agronomists in Chikankata area? Okay, so let me do this. I'll also inform her that I've shared her number in the group. Her name is Chungu. She is an agronomist that can drive to your farm, that can visit you, that can, be with you on your farm and also help you with crop protection. Kindly summarize the names of the varieties against times. Okay, I'll do that. I shall do that for you. So an agronomist in Muchinga province. So what I'll do when I share Chungu's contact, she'll be able to also direct you to other agronomists in your area who can come to your farm and visit your farm for free. So most of these who do crop protection will be able to give you a free service in terms of agronomy. So I'll share Chungu's contact. She's able. So yeah, I'll share Chungu's contact, and I'll also just let her know that I have shared her contact with farmers, and she'll be able to get back to you and assist you, and also link you to other farmers who cover your region. But yes, she covers small scale farmers. Okay, I've shared the contact in the group. I don't know if I'm audible now. My network is showing me that it's a bit low. Okay, yes. So for the varieties, don't worry, this will be shared. It will be added against. So yes, just get in touch with the contact I've given you, and they'll be able to share contacts for the areas that they cover. But Chungu should still also be able to cover Central Province, Kabwe, Lusaka. That should be her region, and I think some parts of Southern Province. But yeah, these are she'll be able to link you. So just get in touch with this contact. She'll be able to share the agronomists for which places, and these people can visit you and also just give you some insights. At least you'd have laid the foundation with this information that you've gathered here, and it will be able to help you with what you need. What would be the spacing for drip irrigation? How many lines per bed? So with drip irrigation, so you'd have to kind of tighten the lines. So your spacing would even be about 20 is a bit okay, about 15 to 20 apart. And then on the main line, you'd have to put a lot of drips. Others do 2, but it's not enough. I feel like drip kinds of limits you. I'm sorry, my network is dropping me, but I feel like drip sort of limits you a bit. But others do 2 and make the bed much smaller. They do 2, and then the difference is about 30 centimeters apart, then 2 drips in a bed, and then there'll be about 4 onions per station. And then on the other side, 4 onions per station. So it's better if it's like a bed, and then you have your micro jets or your sprinklers irrigating. That's a little much more manageable and easier. So the updated notes will be shared with you all. So the recommended supplier, and most people don't even know, is Agrico. You'll be shocked at, I've typed it in the chat, Agrico, very affordable. But when others are reselling it, they'll resell at a very high price. Agrico is found in, which area is this? This is, my directions in Lusaka are not so good. But Agrico is found... I'm trying to remember the area. Near York Farms. There about the road near York Farms. You'll be able to find Agrico. So yes, the contact I've shared in the WhatsApp group, you can get in touch with her. I know she used to manage the Copper Belt